The second race for the Iowa House includes candidates Frank Best and Tom Sands, who are running for the House District 87. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to make an opening statement, and we'll begin with Frank Best.
Thank you very much. I'd like to thank the League of Women Voters, KWPC, and Muscatine Journal for putting this on. I'd also like to thank my opponent for being here this evening, and thank him for his years of service. He's given 6 years of service that Tom has been a friend of mine for several years, and I thank him very much for that. I was born and raised in Columbus Junction, Columbus community. Graduated from there and came to Muscatine, where I spent 2 years, graduated from MCC, moved on to the University of Iowa, where I received my bachelor's degree. After receiving my bachelor's degree, I could have went anywhere and found a job making a lot more money, I suppose, but I didn't. I came back here to my home, where I wanted to be, where I wanted to make some differences. I ran for city council, and I've spent 6 years as city councilman, and I've spent 6 years as mayor there. I could go on and tell you about being chairman of the Emergency Management Commission, being a founding member of the Louisa Development Board, being a founder of the Unity Board in Louisa County. But you know, life experience counts for a lot too. You know, when I graduated high school, I graduated on a Sunday, and Tuesday morning I was standing on a kill floor line at IBP. I know what it's like to work 10, 12, 14 hours a day, hurting so bad that when I went to work the next day, I had to put my hand in hot wax just to relieve the muscles. You know, I know what it's like to be a college student, working hard, trying to get to your classes, and then when you finally get out, you're loaded down with so much debt that it feels like you're never going to get out of it. You know, I know what it's like to work in a small business. I've been working in a small business right here in Muscatine for 11 years now. You know, helping not only to grow that business, but understanding the day-to-day activities that you need to do that. So it's life experience. And I find myself, I think, in the unique situation where I've had a lot of life experience that really helps and really covers a lot of the constituents in this district that I've met while I've been outdoor knocking. And I really think that that's what we need right now more than ever. We need someone that represents the people of this district. Thank you.
1% increase in the state sales tax to fund school infrastructure improvements was approved in the last session. How concerned are you about those funds being someday used for other purposes, and what would you do to prevent that?
I think it definitely needs bearing watch. We need to watch and make sure that the money goes where it's supposed to go. But I think what's more concerning to me is the fact that I come from a county. It's one of the poorest in the state, folks. This is one of the poorest counties in the state. You know, our school districts are hurting for money. We look at Polk County, was getting about $1,400 per student. We look at Louisa County, they were getting $350 per student. A vote against that bill, which turned around and gave an extra $500 per student in Louisa County, a county that's hurting, folks, that's unconscionable. I just cannot understand that. It's putting our kids on a level playing field with everyone else. And I just can't understand a vote like that. Thank you.
What 2 or 3 areas would you see as highest areas of spending for protected funding, and what 2 or 3 areas of spending would you suggest for reduced funding?
Protected spending, education, education, education. Our kids are our future, folks. They are our future. If we don't do everything that we possibly can to help them move through, to help them grow into entrepreneurs, to grow businesses and to grow jobs in our area, that's what's important. That's what's going to save us. That's truly what's going to save us. We're looking at a bad economic time. There's no doubt about that. There's some things that we're going to have to cut. There's some programs that are going to have to go down. But it's like any of us when we have to tighten our belts. We'll go down, we'll look at the budget, and we'll decide what needs to go and what's less important. I know that the state building has been brought up several times tonight, but you know, there's a lot of other things I'm sure too, because it's government and I'm sure there's wasteful spending out there. There always is. But folks, we need to stand up and hold on to education and our kids. There is nothing more important to me than that right now, because that's our future. That's our future. Thank you.
Unemployment is higher in southeast Iowa than in other parts of the state. What would you do to help create more jobs in southeastern Iowa?
First, I'd like to back up and say that, you know, Tom, I did read some of the bill, and you might have read it too, but it wasn't in reading the bill, it was the fact that you forgot Louisa County's kids. That was the problem. I'm absolutely committed to doing what we can to create jobs in this area again. One of the things that I would really like to look into is putting Iowa first as a green state. You know, there's so much that we can do in renewable energies. We don't have to lose that to California like we normally do. You know, I mean, it was we talking earlier about, look at Siemens, look at what's building down there with the wind turbines. I'm sure so many of you have seen the pieces that are going by, propellers and everything else right now. You know, that's the sort of thing that we can do. Biofuels, that's the sort of thing that we can do here in Iowa. You know, that's the sort of thing that's going to keep our kids here. You know, we can also be reaching out to, there's a lot of soldiers coming home right now with a lot of technical, training from the military. They don't have any place to put that. Why aren't we recruiting those folks and bringing them here to Iowa, where they can build for us the infrastructure and build for us the economy that the World War II veterans did back in the 50s? You know, that's the sort of thing that we need to be going after and we need to be doing. And that's the sort of thing that I'm definitely going to fight for in the state legislature.
If you're reelected or if you were elected, what are the sort of things that you would do to stay connected to the people in your district, to make yourself accountable to them as their state representative?
Well, as mayor for 6 years, I definitely understand, and council member for 6 years, I understand making yourself available to folks. As a matter of fact, one of the things that I did when I was mayor in Louisa County was I created what we call the Unity Board. When I realized that folks in Louisa County, a county of about 12,000 people, and the municipal leaders didn't know each other. So I brought people together, council members, city mayors, board of supervisors, and we work on issues. Matter of fact, we're already planning one for November after the elections are over with. But that's the sort of thing that I'm going to do, because I understand if you want to reach the people, you got to go to where they're at. You can't sit and wait for them to come to you. You got to go to school board meetings. You got to go to city council meetings. You got to go to the meetings of economic development groups. You got to worry about the small county as much as you do the big county. And that's what I'll be doing when I'm out there. I'll be going out to where the people are and talking to them. That's what I've always done.
7. Thank you. Each candidate will now have an opportunity to make a 1-minute closing statement, and we'll start with Frank Best.
I'd like to thank everyone again for putting on the forum. And again, I'd like to thank Tom for joining me here this evening. We've got some big decisions to make coming up in this next session. There's no doubt about that. But I'm always going to do what I've always done. I'm going to put people ahead of myself. You know, from my very early days, you know, coming back to this area, you know, I realized how important it is to reach out and help folks. You know, one of my most proud offices that I hold as president of the Historical Society, something Mr. Kaufman would understand too. It really has given me a sense of the history and the heritage of this area. I don't want to live in the past by any means. I want to move forward into the future. But knowing that history and knowing that heritage has put me in a unique position to help folks move things into the future. And that's what I'd like to do. And that's why I'm asking you to vote for me for state representative in District 87 this year. Thank you.